Hello, I'm Ian. Thanks for dropping by. And coming up is the first video I am going to do regarding the property I purchased as my main dwelling. It's going to primarily focus on me learning how to renovate a property. This isn't going to be a renovation channel or anything like that. There's enough of those out there. This is just me cataloguing the various challenges that I'm going to face while I work on this property. It's a 2 up, 2 down, although technically it's a 3 up and 2 down with an extension at the back. It's located up in the Moray Firth in a village called Fenechty, and I am going to hopefully use my limited carpentry skills, my limited building skills, my long-suffering 84-year-old father's skills, who on a daily basis is convinced he raised an idiot, but you know, that's dad's. And hopefully in the process teach myself, maybe document my steady demise and provide some sort of light entertainment for anybody out there that's going through the same sort of procedure. It's a village full of people that are currently working on properties like mine, and they're all at various stages. Some are very close to completion, some are still being worked on, some people have got a lot of money. I haven't got a lot of money, so I'm doing the best I can with what I can. I'll make mistakes and I'll probably make a few discoveries as we go along. It's about 100 years old, this property. It's had a home report done. There are issues, asbestos on the extension roof. First day I moved in, there were wasps flying around when the heating kicked in. They'd obviously been revived. I moved in December, and yeah, I mean, it was 100% livable for the person that lived there before me, but obviously I'm going to try and bring it up to date, hopefully sympathetically to the style of the local village. So I'm not going to be doing too many drastic changes. I'm not going to be doing any designer stuff if I can help it. But yeah, sit back, take a look, and I'll try and give you some understanding of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it as we go along. I do tend to ramble, you've probably noticed that, but that's me. What can you do? Anyway, enjoy. So at this point, prior to getting into the main video, I should probably explain that when I first got up there, I thought the first thing I wanted to do was get rid of one of the fireplaces that was obstructing the chimney that we suspected was needing some attention. So what you can see here will be me slowly taking back the stud partitioning so that we can get an idea of what's going on behind. That turned out to be a hole, quite literally, and that's why we've called it the hole in the wall. Yeah, so this is basically me exploring the first room downstairs and trying to establish what it is we need to tackle there. A lot of people say build up, renovate down, but the roof was already something that we were looking into getting done by a professional anyway, because it's not really something that I can tackle with the equipment I've got, although who knows, maybe at some point I will. Anyway, I just thought I would give you a brief introduction into why you can see me attacking this particular room. Hello, demolition day 1. This is the room we've decided we're going to turn into the kitchen. This fireplace was the first thing that needed to go. So I started taking the tiles off here, and I found a brick fireplace behind it, but it's got this skin of these little sort of semi-ceramic tiles, or terracotta tiles, I'm not sure what they are. Now when I went into it, down here, you can see through into a void. And there's another void there. So I thought I would take up the plasterboard. This, I think, is the original lintel that was painted tastefully green. This looks like stone here, and then there's a pattern along here for the studding. So I thought I'd have a little poke in there, but there's a massive void above it. So I'm now wondering, since I've had a cup of tea, if I peel this back, if this is actually a mantelpiece or a stone fireplace. Unfortunately, there's a plug socket running here, and I haven't got my wire detector, so I'm having to be a little cautious about where I pull stuff up. The stud goes from about here across, which is not standard. And there's another plug there, but I think basically I'm going to have to take these panels out to get an idea what's going on. I haven't opened up the fireplace that they plugged there, basically because I'm worried about what's going to roll out on me. So I think I might, I'm more concerned about this, because that's a massive void there. That's a lot of space in this room. If that's the actual gable end there, I mean that's almost what, I don't know, 6 inches of void there. And if that all goes back 6 inches, then that's going to make this room considerably larger. Or it could just be that the chimney's collapsed and there's no bloody stone under there, so who knows. But I think I can see some kind of render on it. But yeah, I hope you're looking forward to this, Ellie, because it's going to get very messy. Bye. You can see the old wallpaper design there. And they've just sealed this up. But there you can see the hole and another hole there. This is probably going to peel away. This is a patch job someone's done, I think. But this plaster needs to come off first. Bit of an old style wallpaper there, don't know. Yeah. And painted. That's what it says, hole. So yeah, I don't know if you can see all the way in there, but yeah, that's quite a big chimney space. I mean, best case scenario is that someone has tried to fill what was originally a bigger fireplace, but I suspect not. I think that there is the original fireplace. So it's kind of good because we've got an original stone fireplace there, but unfortunately the chimney it's connected to looks a bit shit. I'm probably going to spend the weekend cleaning that out, and then I need to take this fireplace out, but that'll come off with a good yank. Anyway, at least bigger beasts can get in the house now. Okay, I thought I'd just pause there at the moment, just to comment on how many times I used the word bloody hole in that section, and again reiterate that hole is a theme throughout this place, is why I've probably called it what we did. But yeah, all of this speculation I'm making is just as I peel it back, and it's a bit like Pass the Parcel. Every time you peel another piece back, you're finding some new horror story. It's pretty obvious that there was, at this point to me, it was becoming clear somebody'd done something and it had gone wrong, and they were covering up as best they could. I do a bit of speculation about that, and I think that's just me trying to be optimistic, but ultimately it's pretty clear, as you'll see going forward, that there's a lot more work to be done in this particular room. I should also point out that subsequent investigation, I do actually think this used to be the kitchen of the property, which was obviously relocated when they got gas put in, but that room, I think, underneath has got a linoleum or lino, which suggests to me that probably was the kitchen at some point. But we'll find other things out, no doubt, along the way. Okay, second day demolishing. Slightly out of picture, but there you go. I've now exposed left and right side and put a bit of a hole here. There's a lot of rubble behind there, presumably from up here. There has been an arch, but I can't, it's almost like a half arch, because that's not brick there, that's not brick. This is all, unfortunately, I mean, Jesus, there's even mud and straw in amongst that, which is a bit worrying. Surely they weren't wattle and daubing. Yeah, I think you can almost make that out. But don't really want to peel too much more of that back. Although, again, mud and straw here. Oh Jesus, this just gets worse. Okay, here, the wooden peg there. That is literally that, or it's, I don't know what that is. I should probably have gloves on. Wooden peg there, looks like probably held an earlier stud or possibly held up a mantelpiece. No visible cracks. This was clad, this rental, or the engineering blocks were clad previously with some kind of fireproof paint or something, I think. So that wouldn't have been what you would have seen. At best, I expect you probably would have seen, well, I think you probably would have had red pillars either side of that stuff, and then this lovely green effect here, which has been painted onto the stone. What looks like bitumen or something. This is proving to be a bit more solid than the wall behind it. So the more I pull at that, the more of that collapses. So, yeah, is that going to come? That might come. Maybe it won't. It might even be better left where it is for now. There's a bloody big rock in here, which is probably from the original chimney or wall. It's got soot on it, so it's obviously going back a while. But there's a I don't know what's in there. I don't know whether that's just loose rubble behind there or not. But yeah, electrics were luckily far enough back to think this is all rotten. That's all rotten, that's going to have to come out. That's bulged pretty badly there. That's still fairly solid. This, I mean, they've plastered over this, so I don't know what's going on here. That's just crappy plaster that's just filled that gap. And it actually looks like it's tried to fill it with mud and dirt and straw. I see not, unless that's stuff that birds have chucked down. It seems to be a bit integral to the brickwork. There's a nice big stone there. But this is a bit archaeological at the moment. Yeah, it might even be mice. I do not know. That's straw there, or grass or something. Hopefully there's not a fucking field growing up through the floor. But this is all coming away, sadly. Every bit I take away, curious what the hell's going on here. I don't know if that was a technique back in the day to just fill it with mud and straw, but whoever it was trying to save a bit on mortar by the looks of it, so they've bedded the rock wall. I've never seen that before, or heard of it, except in very, very old buildings, not as old as this. I mean, it's very bizarre. So, let's just turn a little bit of a time team. Find a series of small walls and a tiny Tony Robinson squirreled away inside. Who knows? Well, it gets worse. I'm finding a lot of straw in amongst the rocks. I've knocked out, as you can see, underneath that. A decision needs to be had on what we do here now, because once that fireplace comes out, all that shite there, and obviously it's going to come. On the upside there are blocks at the back there, and they look okay. I could show you, not sure if it'll pick it up. Let's see. So here you go. Obviously this is broken. As Ellie says, recipe for a chimney fire this. I can't work out if this is just shit the birds have thrown down, but it looks deliberate. Like it's been used to pad the stones they were laying around it. And they've rendered over it. It's a bit of an age oldie-worldy technique. Oh shit, yeah, we better not demolish any of that, because that's all that's holding that lintel up. As you can see, there's dress stone at the back there by the look of it. But yeah, bit of a job. This is going to take a bit of work to get detached. I think it might be tied into the other wall. On the edge here, that's all pretty solid. So I don't know. At least it can. Oh, that's just soot. Yeah, centuries old soot there. On both sides, actually. But yeah, bit of a mystery what's going on here. But there you are. Okay, so the adventure continues. I should probably at this point have a look at this fireplace. This was kind of the pinch point of the demolition around this. As you can see, I'd started to try and take out the fireplace at the front, which was how this whole mess started. But that turned out to be about the most sturdy thing there. The stone above it with the green patch on it, that's actually some kind of bitumen paint. And weirdly, there's some kind of pattern effect to it. So I've got a feeling some kind of metal panel or something that had a pattern on it was fitted over the fireplace at some point. They then, above that, what is the stone and then the stud, and then at the top, very top, you can see what I originally thought might have been part of the original fireplace arch. Wasn't. What it was somebody took about 7 bricks and stuffed them into a hole where the chimney had started to collapse. The wall itself's made out of boulders. Those boulders, as I've discovered, are placed in with like earth and straw, or sand and straw. I can't call it cement, it doesn't look like cement. It's just some kind of filler. It's almost like the same technique you would use to put a wall up in like a dry stone wall or something, but it's just to give the stone something to sit on. They chuck a load of muck on it with a straw. That helps the next stone sit on top of it. And then apparently they would put some sort of concrete render over the face of it so that you get a wall. So the green bit and the stone in the middle was a mantelpiece. It was never a lintel. It wasn't supporting anything. It was just purely there, presumably for effect. So that grey concrete had to be chiselled out. During the course of doing all this, where that one brick is broken at the top, those bricks just came out in the end. They were held in pretty poorly, and there was also there appeared to have been some fire damage. Like I said, I think there might have been a fire in a chimney fire, which has possibly led to the collapse. So yeah, at this point it was becoming apparent that the only way I was going to get this cleared out was if I got that fireplace at the front, which was a concrete pour with those brick tiles put over it. And it turned out it had rebar in it as well. So in the next sort of sequence, you'll see me going at it with an SDS Max concrete breaker, and that was kind of barely touching it. So yeah, it's just become a case of clear it back. The plaster that was on the wall was damp anyway. That later turned out to be as a result of some poor work that was done at the top of the house. So the moisture was just running down the side of the gable end on the inside, and that was just getting into the plaster. So actually opening it up was drying it out as well. So I ended up just taking the decision to just peel it all the way back to the stones themselves, just so that I could get an understanding of what's going on. And so that's what you're going to see in the next sort of sequence. That and the amount of rubble that was being generated just by doing this. I obviously have to take a break and start to actually shovel that out, which created another problem because there's a step down into this room, so filling the rubble bags on the inside of the room wasn't a good idea because it meant I couldn't pull it back up over the top of the step, but you'll see that coming up. But yeah, this thing has turned out to be a bit of a sequence of problems, and it generally gets worse to a point, as you'll see. But let's crack on. Right. Well, still got a ton of rubble sitting on a void there, but we have managed to clear the first load of rubble, open up that door, which was helpfully screwed shut, which I didn't unfortunately find out until I'd cut through 4 screws and pried at it endlessly with a crowbar, digging iron, and anything else I could use as a means to shift it. The only trouble now is getting this bag of rubble over that step, which is not as easy as I thought it would be. so I'm going to have a think on that. But there you go. Hopefully the acros are going to arrive on Monday. Luckily the neighbours are very helpful, so they've supplied me with a piece of timber I can use to wedge that, hopefully. But there's a few people been in and had a look at it now, and I've still got to destroy this. I have got another boy toy arriving, but if that doesn't work, then my neighbour's got a jackhammer. But obviously using heavy vibrating equipment near a wall that is suspended above nothing is probably not a good idea. So it may just have to be a lump hammer job. But I don't think this is made much out of bricks as much as it's been made into a form and poured concrete into it. It looks like bricks, but that's just the impression of the tiles that were removed. But I need to get that down so that I can empty that and then get some idea of how I'm going to tackle this, which I think unfortunately is going to be brick up to the height of the lintel, get a concrete lintel behind it, and then brick up from that to this. So that's probably about another 200 or 300 quid's worth of materials that you'll never see once it's covered. But that might be the only way we can do this. I have managed to get to the back. There's some white bricks or some mortar there. I've got a funny feeling that might be the original size of the fireplace. No idea. Of course, lots of people are speculating on what it could be. But yeah, I don't know if we can see up there or whether we can see daylight, but I've already pulled a few stones out of this area. That one and the one next to it. Obviously they'll have to be taken out to a skip by hand because there's no way I'm putting them in a rubble bag. But yeah, got the door open. Just need to get my head around how I'm going to tackle this, because the concern is that this mantelpiece really is actually holding that all back at the moment, or stopping it pushing out. Although there's quite a bit of weight there, it's probably under compression. The danger is going to be working in its locality without any support, so the acro has to go in, but I'm still trying to work out how I'm going to. I mean, logically the acro has to go in here, but I need to cut a board so that I can support all of that, because there's at least 1, 2, 3 rocks there that are going to need to be supported, plus the big massive bugger on the side there that you can see, this one and this one. This white is just the mortar that was holding the bricks in, which is not great, because that's the only thing holding that lot up at the moment, apart from the side compression of the gable. So yeah, so I need to have a think. Also, you know, walking around upstairs is possibly going to be, you know, I don't know, the ceiling joists are keyed into that gap up there somewhere, but I can't see them at the moment. Although, I don't know, maybe I can see a bit of floor, not sure. It's been cowboy central. This wire here is dead, but the two there are live, and this I think is the old earth wire. It's 2 metal straps that came out of the fireplace that were originally holding something up that clearly isn't there anymore. I do have a sledge, but I don't know, we will have to see. Great fun. Right, so at this point things started to get a bit more serious, as you can tell by the hard hat. the acros arrived. Unfortunately, it turned out that the acros I'd got were a couple of inches too short to get into that crack where the bricks used to be. So what I'm trying to do here is get this bomb-proof fireplace out of the way so that I can start making some space to fit an acro in underneath. Now as you watch me do this, you'll probably notice the hole, that some dust starts to drop from that, and then eventually what happens is that the vibration from that causes that boulder there to just drop. At that point, obviously my acro now fits, so you can see me desperately trying to get that and starting to panic a little bit because I'm starting to wonder how much more is going to drop. Obviously I can't do any more at this point because it's just becoming too unsafe for anybody to actually work under it. It needs proper attention. So anyway, I'll try and get it shored up, and eventually we get to a stage where I'm having to cut through rebar in the fireplace. It's just not budging. Honestly, they did not. I think they were actually hoping that fireplace was going to hold the wall up. But anyway, I'll hand over to other me to talk about the remaining bit of that work. Hello. Fresh update. This, I did that quite well. This bit collapsed. These acros that I've ordered were too big. However, the collapse meant that they're now big enough. So I've had to shore it up. As you can probably see, there's an absolute crap load of rubble at the back of that. Trying to get that broken up there is what caused the boulder that was here to drop out. One of the previous videos you'll be able to see that happen, albeit in stop motion, so if you blink and you'll miss it. I've now got a pile of rubble outside, but that's only a quarter of what's buried behind there. The only concern now is what's holding up these blocks here, and I can't see anything under there, so I've got a feeling I'm going to have to shore that up with another acro. The rubble's going outside. I don't know if you can see that in picture. No, not. I'll take you over. So there's the collection of rubble, and one rubble bag full. That's as much as I can drag on my own. This is the scene of devastation. As you can see, there's rebar all the way through this bloody fireplace, including around here, around there. But yeah, as I said, originally these acros were too big to fit under there because there was a kind of a rock here. So I've had to shore it up a bit just to stop this stuff from coming out. What you see here are what were raw plugs holding something up, God knows what. Maybe the bag of cow shit they used to fill these cracks. As my father likes to say, he'd like to catch the bugger that put this wall together, but I think they may have been a better fisherman than they were a farmer. Builder, sorry. At the moment, I'm going to try and keep this here in place. I'll just put your backs down. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep this bit and do something here. The idea is eventually when I break all this fireplace up, I can start bricking up to the height of the lintel and get it done that way. But that's going to be a while away because this stuff here doesn't move. Doesn't seem to move. I think I'm starting to hallucinate. Anyway, more mess to come. Bye. So that's probably a good point for us to pause. Yeah, there is definitely more destruction to follow. As you can probably tell, it's some time since I started this video. and I've kind of summarised in this one about, well, it's probably a good week's worth of chipping away, knocking bits out, to the point where we get to the situation where I have to make a decision about how we progress with that chimney. So hopefully this has been watchable. Looking at myself in the camera, I realise how knackered I am. I am actually back at the property now, as you can tell by the decor. But I think probably half an hour is probably, or thereabouts, is probably long enough for this video. I have got some other footage, but I probably should do some that shows you the rest of the property and the location, which I will do. So thanks for watching, and more to come. Bye.